Okay, so, you might come around guys, you can't see, but, so from here, so as we spoke about last time, where they said the power comes up from the ground, it's a rebounding motion that comes up from the ground as you move across and put the shot into the pad, okay, put the strike in here. So when they mean all the power comes up from the feet, it's actually from the ground as I move across and bounce off the ground and fire my shot into the pad, okay. Remember the stance is almost square. It should be conversation starts. We can talk to a member of your family, you can practice the starts with them, as I said before, though without the same intent, more friendly, okay? So I always want to touch the pad. If I touch the pad, I know exactly where the target is, I know that I can hit it, so I can touch it, I can feel the pad here, okay? Now as I said before, you want the legs nice and relaxed, and a little distance between the two of them. You also want to remember that this hip, because I'm going to fire my right hand, is the trigger. So when I fire this hip and move over, that is going to signify that the arms and the hands are going to go to the pad. Okay, so this is the trigger. So this actually fires first, the hip, and then I've got a recoil motion, like an elastic band quality in my waist, that then will fire the shot into the pad. Okay, it's the hip first, boom, and then just split a millisecond behind that, the strike comes in behind the shot. Okay, from there. Also, remember the head? The head tells the body where the power's going, where the energy's going. The head tells the body that. So although the energy comes up through the feet and rebound off the ground, the head does direct the target to where it's going. Just like a tennis server. Firing the shot with his right hand, his head moves over across onto his front leg, so he can fire, complete discharge of energy either on one leg or the other, not stuck in between. Okay? Okay, so from here I touch the pad. I need to use my voice as well, because that will actually let out much more energy, and it also causes a stabilising of the abdominal muscles here when I use my voice. So it's not just about letting it shout, it does let out a complete energy onto the target when I use my voice as well. So from here, if I just do a few shots for you, you can see from here. So just watch my hip here, you can see it fire first. It looks aggressive, but all I'm doing is releasing everything, emotional content and energy out of my body into that shot. I've got no feeling of anger or anything, I'm just releasing everything I've got into that shot. My voice, my structure, my posture, going from relaxation to tension right into that shot. Now, the reason I love doing this pad work as a form of, let's call it a form of therapy. When people go to a counsellor or see a therapist, this is really important to remember. The counsellor and most therapists never can say to themselves, who am I actually talking to? Because everybody wears a mask. Everybody goes through the day with a multitude of masks for leverage, sympathy, reputation, whatever it may be, they wear a multitude of masks. And as much as people say, most people don't go to a therapist to get 100% transformation in their mind. Most of them don't. They're not interested. A lot of them go there because they want their story to be backed up by the therapist. Imagine the woman that goes to the therapist and says, my husband's a narcissist. And she tells her side of the story so that the therapist agrees with her. Or vice versa. The man goes along to it. I've met both. And he's going along to project to the therapist their side of the story so the therapist goes along with it. It's really, really common. Or the woman that feels that she's been a victim all her life and goes along to a therapist and tells her story in the most dramatic manner. What the therapist never really considers is you're actually talking to a mask most of the time, and it's the therapist's job and a coach's job to get behind the mask and see what's really going on. So whoever's in front of you asking for help, you've got to consider to yourself, in somehow they put themselves there, and you've got to unravel it, you've got to get behind the mask. And all of us, a lot of us go through life only having relationships with other people's masks, and not the human being behind it. We have relationships with other people's masks, not actually the human being behind it. What I love about this stuff is that this is why therapy and coaching's got to change, is that when you see someone move, there's no hiding. There's no mask. There can't be. Let's give you some scenarios, okay? Guy holds his breath. Just won't let it out. What else is he not letting out in his life? What else is he stifling? What else is she stifling, suppressing down? The person that won't hit hard. Because they don't want to. Yet they've come along to train. Or the guy, this was me, who put his self-esteem in every single session, so if he didn't do well, he took it as a knock on his personal character. And then you drive home feeling really, really depressed after because you didn't give your 100%. Because you feel you've got no control over area of your life. So unless you go, you're all here. you feel less of a man. Really common. That was me, guys, without a doubt. So you're more likely to see the signs of someone's psychology when you look at how they breathe, look at how they move, look at how they move their posture in a dynamic situation under pressure, with like hitting a pad, where they have to give it their all. That will give you far more information, and you'll start to get intuitive. You'll feel someone. I do it now in my clients. I can feel like a certain guy or a certain woman taking it really personal if they don't get it right. It goes beyond the competitive edge into something that's very, very personal and eventually quite negative. Okay? And it's also really important to remember this. I said this to some parents this week. They're worried about anger in their child. I'm always worried if the child isn't angry, because then they become very self-involved and self-withdrawn, and they start doing things like self-harming. I'm really concerned when they're not angry, because anger is really transformative. It's really transformative.